Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Late Night Magic Monday. My name is Seth Cross here with Predator Gaming, and I'm joined by, as you can see, CED specialist and TikTok superstar Nathan Jones. Did you like
How's it
that, by
going?
the way? Did you like your?
Yeah, TikTok superstar. Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
man. You have some of my favorite videos. I couldn't help it.
I'm glad. I'm bored and I have ADHD and I have a cell phone, so I make TikTok content.
Yeah. So you have a way is essentially what you're saying.
Yeah, and I got a. I used to really irritate my friends with turning characters and anything like I see in a movie into a D&D character.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, However, I started doing that with people that do cool shit on TikTok. There's a lot of really entertaining people on that app. But
Yeah.
like, there's this one guy that I follow, and it started the entire idea. His name handles the Modern Ninja,
Mm-hmm.
but he does like katana juggling and sword tricks and like kama things. And I was just like, oh man, that guy totally is like a D&D character. So
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
did it like this is how he would be as a D&D character, and then like he duetted it because like apparently he plays Dungeons and Dragons, and like a lot of people like are like, yo, I want to be a D&D character. So I ended up getting like these people with like millions of followers following me, being like,
Nice.
yeah, like like I'm sitting here going like, why are you following me? Like, yo, dude, can you make me into a D&D character? I'm like, what the fuck? It's just weird that like you do weird nerdy shit and all of a sudden a whole bunch of really cool people turn around and be like, hey, that's kind of awesome. I'm like, what do you do? Why are you talking to me?
Yeah, like you're like leagues and bounds above me in terms of like people knowing who you are.
Yeah, yeah. And then like you started following me. I'm like, what
Yeah,
the hell? It's just like it just proves that people have varied interests. Have like a following on TikTok. Breaks you up basically between there's straight TikTok and alternative TikTok, and then it kind of breaks you up between those subcategories.
okay.
Uh, but like my content goes across like a couple of categories because just there's a couple people that really enjoy my or enjoy D&D and cooking. So
Hmm. I remember one of you our I don't know if you would call them a series of videos. I don't know how you like think of it, but you started doing like these short like 30-second uh cooking videos where like you were blindfolded, I think, like doing like the chopping up the ingredients and stuff.
oh yeah, that was just me jacking off.
But so
Uh,
like those videos kind of got my attention because so for anybody who doesn't know this in the world, I don't really know how to cook. I know how to prepare food essentially. I didn't learn how to cook as a kid. It wasn't like a thing that I was interested in, which I regret now that I'm an adult, obviously. But so like seeing somebody who could just do it so fluently and stuff like that is always kind of like mind blowing to me because it's like, man, imagine being able to do that. And here you are, you could do that.
yeah, I remember I was on a video call with my therapist like a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, oh man, I'm hungry. And so I go in the kitchen and I start putting together like for me like a sandwich, like
Yeah.
avocado toast and like just like a sandwich, and she's just like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, toasting some spices. And she's like, what are you making? I'm like, I don't know, fucking avocado toast.
Lunch, like, calm
Lunch.
down.
Well, it's like lunch. I'm like, ah, it's got avocados. Ooh, sesame seeds. Ooh, I got some cumin. Oh, some coriander be nice to that. Ooh, olive oil. Oh, that's already feeling Mediterranean or Middle Eastern. Let me throw some preserved lemon on there.
See, like even stuff like that, how you just rattle it off. I'm like, I don't think of things,
The black
especially in
olive, and you
food.
got like really good like Middle Eastern Mediterranean style food.
Yeah, that's crazy that you just. I mean, obviously for you, it's like second nature, but to me, I wouldn't be able to throw those kind of things together. Like in my head,
There's
I
very
wouldn't know.
there's very little difference between brewing and like cooking. Like deck brewing and cooking. You have a certain set of ingredients and bases and things that you need to make a thing function.
Hmm.
You have a certain amount of things that are your staples and your go-tos. Like if you have like a beef, if you use beef, you know that you're going to go grab your red wines, you're going to grab your black peppers,
Yeah.
you're going to you're going to be doing specific things. So like, you know, you have like a set amount of staples, and then you just kind of round it off with the last bit of things that you feel like you want to do. Like, oh, I like beef, mushrooms, red wine, onions. I don't know. Fucking, there's probably about like 30 different ways to cook beef, mushrooms, red wine, and onions.
Yeah. So like, what really got you into? Because you're actually a chef, right, for your profession?
Yeah. I have been cooking professionally for about 20 years now.
And how old are you?
34.
Oh my god, I did not know you were 34. I like, you know, don't take this the wrong way or anything. You seemed younger, and you're actually a couple years older than I am.
Yeah, I know my age is misleading. Yeah.
So that would put you, basically, you started when you were 14. So what?
I got a job for my birthday.
Oh, that was it. Like, you just had to get a job for.
My dad got me a job working. My dad was a golf professional.
Okay.
He got me a job working as a prep cook at the kitchen at the golf course.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. And it just kind of evolved from there. Like, as you were learning, you just realized you really liked it.
I grew up with pots and pans, and when I grew up, and like when my grandma, with my grandma's kitchen, like I remember when lobsters were like peasant food, and we used to like race them across like the kitchen floor before we ate them. But like, no, I've been in it for a while. Like I got an easy bake oven as a kid, like that I requested. I took over family dinners when I was probably about 12. I started doing Thanksgiving dinners. I had two working parents that made the same meals all the time. My dad knew how to make amazing shepherd's pie, but like my mom and dad didn't really know how to cook more than sustaining food.
Yeah.
I grew up watching a lot of cooking channels, or like James Barber, Martin Yan, like on PBS, and like I to learn how to cook.
So have you ever? Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's been the story since then.
Okay, so nowadays, like, there's an entire, cooking TV industry and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of folks who do like videos where they're reacting to cooking, like instructional things or whatever, and it's always, they're, I guess, over exaggerating is one way of saying it, but like their reactions and their everything are like way above what you would expect. Have you ever like done something similar where like you're watching videos, whether you're recording it or not, and just been like, what the hell are you thinking, or something like that?
I don't yet. In my private voice. I don't know, man. Like, there's so much to talk about when it comes with cooking, but like there's some times when people open their mouth and they clearly don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and then there's also people open their mouth and they just haven't been educated.
Okay.
Like, there's also the ideas of like cooking is one of the most subjective things on the face of the planet, because if you don't like the taste, like, I don't need to make but I also think people misuse the word, like throw around too harsh language when they're judging food. Like, that's disgusting. I'm like, oh motherfucker, I'll fight you. Like, even friends, they're like, I think that's disgusting. I'm like, ooh, watch your language around me.
Okay. Because just because you don't like something doesn't mean that there's not folks out there who do enjoy that taste or whatever.
And like, I have enough friends that are like I grew up in a very non-Caucasian environment.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I grew up eating like a lot of different things, and like I grew up in a very brown part of Toronto, and like I grew up, my mom was feeding me curry when I was a kid, and like that was just part of our, like, the amount of disparaging things I've heard, like Indian food is gross, and I'm like, I will fight you. Like, billions of people are not wrong about it.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. I like that. Yeah.
It's you don't like, it's just because, and then like, it's like, it brings out the really petty, bitchy part in me that I don't really like to get into. It's like, well, I don't like this, and then I start getting really like aggressive and fighty. So I just like everybody to really chill about a lot of things, so I don't turn into a petty bitch.
Yeah, I think like me growing up, I did grow up in kind of like a very Caucasian area. So when it comes to even like Chinese food, as like we know in America, right? Like Chinese food was not very common until I was older, and then I took a liking to it because I was dating a girl who ate Chinese food, fairly consistently. But like I didn't have Thai and Indian food until I was in my late 20s, I want to say. And it was like somebody at work randomly was like, hey, why don't we get Indian food for lunch one day while we were out at like a training event, and there was a place nearby. And I was like, well, I've never really had Indian food, I don't really know anything about it. And they're like, oh, okay, well, like I'll come with, like, we were all going together, so let me kind of order you something that I don't think will spoil you on the genre of. And I had it, and I was like, this is amazing. I love this. I never experienced it before, but sure, why not? And man, now I kind of wish I knew, or I could remember what I had, but I remember having it and thinking, man, this is great. I would love to have, like, try more foods like this, because there's no reason not to. So
I grew up I'm from Toronto, so like we have Chinatown.
Yeah.
Like I actually like the amount of cultures that are all mishmash right up next to each other is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like I live right where I live is in Little Portugal, which has Little Ethiopia and Little Korea sandwiched between it. So from Little Portugal, I go through about a block and a half of Little Ethiopia, and then I'm into Little Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I can just the amount of snacks that I can have on about a 6-block walk.
Yeah. You basically get to travel around the world culinarily, just walking down the street. Yeah.
Just by walking down the street, like people are like, oh, I could eat the world, and I'm like, man, you should see Toronto eat.
I could take you on a tour. That's cool.
Like I remember I went to for Magic Fest Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was eating Vegas food there, and like I found one great taco place, but everything else was just so fucking bad that like I didn't eat anything except for like cold brew coffee and marijuana for like 4 days. I was a wreck. It was a wreck. It was great.
Yeah. Is this last year you went?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the food there was so bad that like when I got home and like collapsed into bed and pulled up like Uber Eats and ordered like just like black bean noodles, I was so happy.
Yeah. It's
like, if you haven't cried into a bowl of noodles before, you like, I don't think you've reached bliss.
That's funny. Yeah, I remember I went to Vegas last year too, so it's kind of funny we were there around the same time. And I remember what's up?
I wasn't anybody then.
Oh, I mean, I'm nobody now, so you know what I mean. But I remember like it was so hard to like really get to food because we flew out there. We're on the East Coast right now, and we pretty much have been for the past few years, and we didn't have a car. We didn't want to rent a car or anything, so it was basically whatever we could get to on the like monorail that they had out there. And like you could go down. Yeah, you can go down to the strip and walk and find places to eat and everything. And there were some good places. There was a Mexican place we went to. I forget if we were going to see the Blue Man Group. So for Vegas, we went out a week early from the actual event, and we did it to basically me and my wife to go and have like a Vegas trip and then have Magic Fest Vegas afterward. Yeah. So we saw a couple of shows out there. We saw Chris Angel while we were out there, his show, and we saw the Blue Man Group, which the Blue Man Group, if you haven't seen it, is a hilarious show. Like, they're just so wacky and they're so creative in what they do. And I want to say we were going to the Blue Man Group show. We were hungry. There was a place in the resort that we were seeing them in, and I cannot remember the name of the place, but it was Mexican food, and they were very good. We were kind of concerned because we were so close to the show, but they made everything so fast, and it was good food. It had that nice kick that you want when you're, eating something like Mexican and everything like that. It went really well we were, we drank with pretty much every meal, but we were drinking beer, and everything went together really well. The atmosphere was really nice. I really wish I remember the name of the place now. If I knew where my wife was.
I had to go to like some group dinners, and there was like went to a buffet place, and the conversation was great. The food was not. The conversation the whole weekend was fantastic. I barely slept, and it almost killed me.
Yeah.
But getting to meet everybody, my heart still breaks. The plans that I had for Magic Fest Toronto this year.
Yeah.
Oh. As soon as it was announced, I had started organizing with like the amount of content creators, like the CDH content creators that we had that were going to be there. So many people.
I know.
Rooms booked.
We had plans to make Vegas again this year. We did go to like earlier in the year. There was like Magic Fest DC. We went to that because we're in North Virginia, so it was real close. But that was like the last event that I remember them like hosting right before things started shutting down. And we all kind of waited with bated breath to kind of see like, maybe Vegas will happen. It's later in the year. Maybe maybe we'll make a turn for the better by then. And of course we did not. So I completely understand you there. Like we just friends that like we have on the West Coast and everything, we were gonna see again. Other content creators, like you're saying, we were gonna see again, and it just didn't work out that way. The world is not prepared for events again. But yeah. Just think, we could have, if you were gonna go to Vegas again, we could have played Magic together, and you could have killed me on turn 0. So.
Oh, I don't have that deck anymore. It died.
What? Come on, man.
Well, I can't turn. I'll kill you. I'll kill you early. I just won't. I can't turn. I can't physically turn 0 anymore. They took away the tools.
Yeah. Well, so
thankfully they took away the tools. Like when it comes to like my judgment of a Magic card, the more excited I am over it, probably the worse it is for the general community. Like that's what I straight up tell anybody. If I like it, be afraid.
So we were talking about this a little bit before, and like we even talked a little bit about it while we were preparing for topics and stuff like this. Commander Legends, you're obviously excited about a specific card. It's the card that you're framed around right now, but Obeka. Yeah. Just end in turns. Just end in turns, huh?
There's a lot of things I like about Obeka. Or Becca, mommy. There's so many things that I enjoy about like what they did with her. And I think it's one of the things that I like WotC like playing around with. It's like adding that sundial effect to a commander allows you to do a lot of really wonky things.
Mm-hmm.
And like even for like my degenerate needs, but even for casual, one of the reasons why I like Obeka is because she makes a bunch of previously unplayable cards or not interesting cards or cards that have like a downside all of a sudden playable.
Yeah. And
it gives them all a home in in like a deck. And I think there's probably like a bunch of different ways you could build her, like Unearth or like Encore, or anything that like basically has some kind of drawback at the end of turn. You can just not have it.
Yeah.
So I just think like that's the kind of design space that I like WotC exploring. It's kind of like the Zada effect, where like Zada just being printed made a whole bunch of really like, or the like more recently the Feather effect.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there.
Command that makes a whole bunch of previously, and big air quotes, quote unquote, unplayable cards, all of a sudden really relevant.
Yeah.
And just gives everybody like a nice happy home. But like then there's also degenerate things that I can do with it because they decided to put it in Grixis.
Yeah, right. And colors that entirely want to play fair Magic.
Yeah. Like I play Grixis and like Sultai and like 5-color degenerate shit.
Oh, so you're saying you're like a Golos player is what you're saying?
I built Golos when Golos was first spoiled. I made the dumbest deck out of it too. It was a Golos Divergent deck.
Okay.
I tried to combo off with World Gorger Dragon and Sunscorched Desert.
I gotcha.
I just wanted to kill people with Sunscorched Desert, and I was just like, haha, Golos.
So, just because you mentioned World Gorger, were you a fan when Anya came out? And did that actually hit like the meta in CEDH? Is that still like?
Oh, people play Anya. People play Anya. And that's one of the things that I think I'd like to get across to people that like not everybody quite understands is that there are still a lot of people that will play whatever the hell they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
There were people that like, of course, they're out there. They're like, I'm only playing meta decks or I'm only playing the best decks. But like every CDH player I know has a happy little reject deck that they love. It's just like this happy little idiot, and they're like, oh, this is like what I play when I'm like. When I need to like, we're playing CDH, but then there's like, I've got this deck. Yeah. And it's a mess. But like, not everybody will always play the pinnacle, the best deck. Not everybody was playing Sushi Hulk when Sushi Hulk was a thing. But like, if a deck can be competitive and someone out there will have fun playing it, some people really just generally enjoy World Gorger strategies and will constantly find the best World Gorger Dragon deck to play.
Yeah.
Some people are just addicted to that, like, I'm going to yeet my like entire board into the void, and like either I'm winning now or I'm going for a smoke. And frankly, I respect that because I play that kind of Magic too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a mentality, and you were talking about this, I think, before we did the intro and everything like that about there are a lot of similarities in the play styles between CEDH and casual player, because that, like, I've had those situations before where like I don't know if I can win, but I'm just gonna try to do my big thing because I want to do a big thing, because that's like I'm playing Magic. Like, what do you think I want to do? So I think there is a lot similarities like between the two audiences in that fact.
It's just the time frame in which we like to operate in. Which is something we were talking about in the pre-shows. Like I like EDH for the exact same reason that everybody else likes EDH. I love to hang out and talk with my friends, talk about the week, talk shit, throw around some cardboards, have some crazy interactions. I just like it at 11.
Yeah.
Like I need it to slap a little.
Yeah, you wanna feel something when you're playing Magic, right? The thrill.
Yeah. Choke me a little.
There you go.
If you're not pulling my hair, it's not worth it.
Yeah. If I can't feel it, then what are we even doing here?
Exactly. And as we're saying, like I like people to fight me. I like massive stacks. I like having a lot of interaction. I like walking into a room knowing that these people are going to put up a fight and I'm going to give them one.
Yeah. I think
and that's also what I play a lot of Najeela for, because Najeela is my deck that like I play a deck that's different than the common Najeela. What would say a Najeela Tempo, which is done by Pongo. I've been playing something a little bit different than his.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more aggressive. Because I just like to turn her sideways and beat people's face in and constantly present threats until eventually they cave.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Like
wait, what was that?
And then there's nothing like pressuring life totals.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the art on Najeela, and I actually want to go back. Something else about Obeka that I really enjoy is her art is really cool.
Her art is amazing. Like, I fell in love with her when she was just a box of text in a leak.
Yeah.
But the Jesper Icing art, oh my, mwah.
Because these are like shards of, I'm guessing, like time that's all around her.
Yeah, it's like they're saying class, and I'm like, that's reality.
And her flavor text, I'm bored with now.
I'm bored with now. I'm like, oh honey.
That's yeah.
I remember when my buddy first saw that, he's like, your girlfriend has tusks, and I'm like, my girlfriend has piercings, and like she has tusks, and I'm like, she's piercings. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, look at the image closer. And then he zooms in. He's just like, how close have you been looking at this picture? And I'm like, very close.
Yeah. So, from a CEDH standpoint, has there been anything else that's been previewed for the set so far, Commander Legends, that you think is going to make a splash?
You're going to love. You're going to absolutely love this, and I promise it's legitimate, and like people are playing it. The new Kobold.
Oh yeah, like the zero cost zero one, right?
You're like we're calling him Roger. Is his nickname?
Yeah.
No, but I'm not kidding you. He's legitimately CDH.
I can see that.
Thrasios, what you do, like, there's many different ways that you can abuse a zero cost body creature, like especially for like generating, like casting an early, culling the weak off a creature, turning on an early Mox Diamond, polymorphing into like a Tidespout or like a Tidespout Tyrant deck. But the mere fact that Dockside Extortionist, which is run in just about every single red deck. Well, no, sorry. Which is run in every single red deck, as far as I fucking know.
Yeah.
Cloudstone Curio and Roger, that's infinite mana.
Yeah, yeah.
And like instead of like most CDH Dockside loops need about like 6 to 7, or sometimes 4. I think 4 is the gold standard with Emil.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, you only need 3 treasures.
Yeah. You
need the 2 to recast Dockside, 1 extra, and then you just keep bouncing Dockside and Roger back and forth, and you have that infinite mana.
Yeah, and then I mean, if you run something like Impact Tremors, that's just game. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah. Well, what we would do is, since you have like infinite mana, infinite draw,
mm-hmm.
you could find multiple ways to like reuse your deck doing Time Twister loops.
Okay.
Or you just draw your deck out and win off of.
Yeah. Like Lab Man or
Lab. Yeah, Lab Man.
Yeah. Not a Lab Man fan?
Lab Man effects are not fun unless someone's fighting you for it. And I don't really like Thassa's Oracle that much because there's very few things that can interact with it. I like casting Lab Man more when people could blow up the body and I could lose the game.
Yeah, when there's a risk to it.
Yeah, when there's a certain amount of like risk on board, even with Jace. Jace was a really good one. It cost about 4 mana.
Yep.
It had the draw trigger on itself, so it was like guaranteed, but you could still pyroblast it.
Yeah.
You could still chain of, like you could still bounce it. Like you could still bounce it with the trigger on the stack and lose the game.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. So what do you think is going to wind up being the partner with? I can't pronounce this, so I think we're going to go with Roger.
Roger. Probably Thrasios.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people, like I saw some people pairing him with Silas.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what there's just so many brews that are happening right now. It's hard to keep track of everything that's going on.
I gotcha. Yeah, I kind of figured Thrasios just because, oldie but a goodie kind of thing. Don't mess with the formula if it works. That's cool. I would not have thought of this for competitive.
Yeah, just like as we were talking about earlier, about with Varolz, like just the fact that it says sacrifice a creature on it, is enough. Sometimes a 0 mana creature in the command zone, is enough.
Yep, it's the simplest answer is oftentimes the best one.
Yeah, free spells are good.
Yeah,
doesn't really matter that 0/1 kobold with a goofy name. Free spells are good.
Yeah. It's funny, so we used to do a podcast that we used to call Reflections of the Council. It was me and one of the other folks from the Praetor Magic group, and that would be one of the things that we would harp on is like some of the most powerful things you can do in Magic is like cheating mana costs. So I mean, free spells are essentially like you're getting value for nothing. So
yeah. It's like, especially if you throw something on a body, because there's just so many different ways that you can abuse bodies. And like my one of the ways that I build my, like specifically my Najeela deck is because I'm pressuring the board so hard, and it usually turns into a 3v1 like real fast.
Yeah.
is like leaving no scrap of resource left on the table. So if there's a token scrap like left over, they're getting sacked out to like a skull clamp to draw cards.
Yeah.
If there's like an early dork, that's gonna get Eldritch Evolutioned into a Thassa's Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
If there's like leftover literally anything, it's just like constantly turning like multiple cards into single card win conditions.
Yeah. So every piece of the deck can be part of the machine to win.
It constantly is churning forward because like specifically with Najeela, she doesn't have any card advantage in the command zone.
Mm-hmm.
But what she does have is a threat in the command zone. So like my way of playing it is less mid-range, more of keep punching people until they stop moving.
I gotcha. I like that. I like that mentality of like everything should do something. You know,
everything should do something, or else there's no point in like. Even with my janky decks, like my Maze's End deck, like there's a certain amount of jank that has to be in that deck. I'm running 10 gates. But everything else that like the rest of like the 80 cards that go into that deck, there's no excuses for them.
Yeah.
Or like there's no excuses. Like is it worth this slot? No, then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like I might be trying to win with gates, but I'm trying to win with gates as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're gonna be up against other decks that are just like you, trying to do things as quickly and efficiently as possible. So you really do have to be kind of cutthroat when it comes to selecting those slots and everything like that.
Yeah, and it also doesn't hurt that my pet card's Demonic Tutor.
Is it a pet card when it's just really good?
I remember getting it. I started playing Magic like before I quit playing Magic. Like I remember when Magic came out, and like I got a couple packs of Alpha Beta Unlimited, and was playing that. And I had like a Demonic Tutor, and I thought it was great because I could go find anything that I ever wanted.
Yeah,
I try not to cut my old collection.
It's kind of funny too, right? Because there's a mentality. You actually just did a video on this the other day with the what was it? The kind of, or the amount of tutors and counters Sheldon wants you to play, and like you made the deck smaller, and then like the amount that I play, and then you made it take up like half the screen. So there's a mentality out there, right, that like doing things too fast is not fun, or not, you know, the spirit, or however people want to say it. And I like the fact that even like Sheldon replied and like had a funny comment to say to it, so he was obviously taking it in good humor, which is how it was meant.
Sheldon knows my TikTok memes.
So,
which it's one of the more funny things. But like one of the ones that I did when Flash was banned, he thought was absolutely hilarious. He saw it was one of the first things that he saw when he logged onto Twitter, and it made his day.
Yeah.
So he knows my TikTok memes.
That's cool. And that's like kind of interesting about your brand, is that like you obviously appeal to other competitive players because you know what you're talking about, but at the same time you appeal to
mostly.
I don't typically question you when you say something's good or something's strong. I don't really, you know, I was like, all right, I mean, Nathan said it, so it's got to be true.
To a certain point, like I mostly point out, like I don't really have a bar that's I have a bar, but it's pretty low for me. But like, I tried to put it out on Twitter yesterday. Like when someone says like, ask me, is this good? And I'm like, is this commander good? And I'm like, I hate that fucking question because like there's so many ways to misconstrue it, and I need to throw like a big caveat in front of it. I'm like, okay, what I'm looking for, and in my considerations, what I think is good is at least a 2-card combo with the commander. One card is amazing. Like Malcolm, the new pirate. I don't know what shell Malcolm is going to be put in, but like I think he might be paired up with Vile Smasher. But the fact that Malcolm is a 1-card combo with Glinthorn Buccaneer, that's amazing. There's some pirates that sack themselves to counter spells or there's some like value ones. But if you're running those, then he's basically like Treasure Timna.
Yeah.
So you could you could be generating 3 treasures per turn. So you're generating mana out of the command zone, and he's a 1-card combo. Like, that's really good.
Yeah.
That is what I look for when someone says, "Is this commander good?" Malcolm is a good case of something that is really good. And like, also he's blue, so like, ooh, even better. Like, we had access to good colors. He's got good grind, his amazing combo potential, and he's on a flying evasive body.
Yeah.
Like, that he's always going to get in. Well, not always, but pretty much always going to get in for at least 1 treasure.
Yeah.
Like, that's my idea of a CDH commander.
Bruffin in the chat wanted to say, what about the legendary Shipbreaker, the giant who gets cheaper for sacking things to cast him, or things sacked before him? I forget what the name of this card is. I know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I saw someone talking about a loop, and it was one of those classic cases where I didn't read the entire card. But I didn't realize that he stays cheaper for everything that's been sacrificed this turn.
Yep.
So that means that you need to cast a Dockside for 3 treasures, sack it. That means he costs 6 less off the sacrificing, and then you've made 3 red mana that you can cast him. Now all you need is some kind of sacrifice out, like an Ashnod's Altar.
Yeah.
Not an Ashnod's Altar, a Phyrexian Altar, the one that makes the mana.
Yeah, the colored mana. Yep.
And then you can basically keep infinitely casting him out of the command zone again, and all you need is like an Impact Tremors.
Yeah.
So he's good.
Yeah, I think that was also another case of like people really have to read them and like understand how the wording is. There's always, especially in Magic, there's a lot of times like the smallest little word changes make something either really good. Well, not to say really good because we don't want to say that here, but to make something a little bit stronger or a little bit not as strong. If like you change a word sometimes.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering is actually the game. It says May. Ugh.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, even like the May in Obeka, right? Like that changes things around because that allows you to play in different scenarios where the person whose turn it is may want to turn it in for a certain situation.
Look, end step ad nauseam.
Yeah.
It's like, it's your turn. It's about to pass to me. I ad nauseum. You go, hey, I want to end the turn. And all of a sudden I lose my ad nauseum.
Yeah. So there's like just that one word also being added.
It also kept it from being completely oppressive because you find some way to untap her at the beginning of every turn, and you just locked everybody out. And I'm like, then we've got a Leovold situation, and they won't let me have him.
Oh no, you're not a Leovold player, are you? Oh, come on.
I would in a heartbeat. I've never got to play with Leovold because I started playing Magic after he got banned.
Oh.
But the people that I play with, I have I don't play let me make this clear to the people. I don't play casual. I don't really have a casual deck, and I don't play casual with anybody.
Yeah.
So the people that I play against, I have little to no remorse for. We're trying to hurt each other, and we're trying to make it hurt, and I probably would get bored after it for a few times, but I want to do it.
Well, there's still Notion Thief.
I love Narset wheeling people. I can't imagine being. Oh yeah, I know. It feels good.
Come on.
There's one thing that feels better than Narset wheeling people. There's one thing that feels better than Narset wheeling people.
What?
Notion Thief wheeling people.
Oh, jeez. It's funny, right? Like when I like you, I think mentioned you started playing Magic and then stopped. When I got back into Magic was right at Return to Ravnica, and I kind of fell in love with Dimir as a guild. As I enjoy Mill as a mechanic. Do I understand that it's not great in Commander? Sure, because I'm not illogical. But my first Commander deck was Mirko Vosk, for instance. And nice. I love Notion Thief. I love everything about him. I love the art. I love what he does. I love the kind of interesting plays you can have with him and everything like that. But I also recognize that everybody hates this effect. Like nobody likes Notion
Nobody
Thief being on the field, except of course for the person playing Notion Thief.
Which is one of the good things about CDH, because usually like the windfall is coming.
Yeah. Like seeing that he was reprinted in the Rogue precon for Zendikar, like I loved it. But I hated it because I was like, oh my god, that's right, he is a rogue. But
I
then
didn't
on the
know
same,
that. I forgot that it was a rogue. I thought it was like a wizard.
yeah, I think most people seeing something like that, you would kind of assume. But then like you look at it, like you really look at his art and the story behind
Yeah.
like what he's doing, because
Right.
what he's doing, what that blue strand is that he's holding, is like somebody's thoughts or memories. Or like secrets, I guess, right? Yeah, exactly. So like, yeah, he's one of the deadliest thieves out there. He's stealing your thoughts.
Yep, and especially when you windfall or Wheel of Fortune into it, and basically ad nauseum for about 26 or whatever the hell the number is, the lot.
Yeah, good card. Everybody hates him.
The best part is when you flash him in on somebody else's wheel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that's the main way to play him. In my opinion.
I have gone wheel Notion Thief, but there's sometimes like other people are wheeling and it's just like it's Notion Thief time. I'm about to ruin this whole man's whole career.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you thought you were about to have a good turn. Let me tell you.
You done fucked up.
You're gonna learn today.
You're about to learn today. Yeah, well, we're about to learn in the future about tapping into or casting anything into 3 untapped black mana.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Notion Thief meta, not the Notion Thief, the Opposition Agent meta.
Oh yeah. Oh god, that was another card that there's been 2 cards that everybody's up in arms about in this set, which is kind of like, I get, people not liking cards or not liking effects or whatever, and that's fine. But just sometimes the amount of vitriol there is out there in the world. But yeah, I would think too, like I would think a lot of people who, again, going back to folks like the whole Sheldon meme joke about counters and tutors he wants you to play versus how many you play, I would think that mentality of folk would have loved Opposition Agent.
They did.
Oh, okay. I just saw so much hate. Like there was so much like, what is this crap?
I keep out of that general I keep to myself most of the time, like, and especially the people that like I choose to speak with. Like, it's like we try to keep it chill over on my end of Twitter.com. But like, there were some people that I talked to, because like I don't like to form any kind of magic opinion when it comes to anything without talking to a few people first.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was a little bit originally hesitant because I saw the amount of staples that you guys run that like it just casually just eats.
Yeah.
Like all of your green ramp. Like I've had the conversation before that like casual runs just as many tutors as EDH does or CDH does.
Yeah.
Except you run just different tutors.
Okay.
You run land tutors, you run explosive mutation, you run nature sport, you run cultivate, which do say search your library for a card. It is a tutor.
Yeah.
It like Opposition Agent doesn't see the difference between a vampiric tutor and a cultivate.
Yeah.
Even Mindcessor does not see the difference between a demonic tutor and a cultivate. Leonin Arbiter does not see the difference between a demonic tutor and a cultivate.
Yeah.
It's just the different tutors that we run. So, like, I got a little concerned because I was just like, I know people hate it when people start messing with their lands.
Yep.
Like, the worst thing you could do is crack, like, play a tapped Evolving Wilds next turn, crack it, and summon Op Agents.
Well, what was like the joke a while ago, stifling somebody's fetch land?
I've had that happen to me before, but I don't feel bad about it.
Well, but in casual settings, that would be like, oh my god, why would you?
Or I'd probably that would be it.
Yeah, you'd be hung out to dry. You'd be like, we can't have this guy anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna fetch into a turn 1 Najeela, and then someone stifled my fetch land, and I was so pissed because I was just like, God damn it!
I was so close.
I was so close.
Yeah.
Well, talking about turn 1 Najeela, Jeweled Amulet, or Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, that's the other card that everybody's going crazy about. And I actually did. So the argument that I've been having with people about this card, because actually, if I scroll down, I'll probably see it. Yeah. So the prices that are listed here, even in Scryfall, the lower one is $129.
It's a $50 card.
Yeah, but I'm not even 100% sure. I guess because it's a mythic, right? Like, maybe. But
I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian, so I'm thinking Canadian prices.
oh, gotcha. But I don't know, like it. I feel like people keep not reading the last line, which is spend this mana only to cast your commander. Sure.
Yeah. Opinions I have on this. One, it depends on the deck whether or not it's going to be good. There's going to be some decks that are going to be able to utilize it better. There's some decks that are going to run it just because they think that it's an auto clued and it's going to suck on turn 3.
Yep.
It's going to suck on turn 4. It is going to suck on turn 5. It is going to be amazing on turns 1 and 2, depending on your commander. But like, it also depends on what your commander is. Do you even want to get into them on 1 or 2? Are you playing Hullen? Are you playing Korvold? Are you playing some kind of card advantage that you can start getting going? If you are playing Korvold, it is going to be an amazing card for you. If you are playing Hullen, it is going to be an amazing card for you.
Okay.
If you're playing Korvold, it is especially going to be an amazing card for you because it is never dead. You can always play it, sacrifice it, and draw it off a Korvold.
Yep.
If you are playing Elsha, you are going to be able to cycle it off the top of your library. If you are playing Urza, it is a Mox Sapphire. There are some decks that are going to be able to utilize it far better than others. However, I am looking forward to being able to go turn 1 Najeela and land and Elf, or Mystic Remora. Because Najeela is a 3-drop, all red.
Yep. See, and that's exactly what... Like, when people were having these arguments about, oh, this is, you know, like, gonna kill the format or break the format, blah, blah, I'm like, how many commanders out there really need that kind of ramp that aren't already fast decks in the first place? Like, you were just talking, Najeela, you could turn 1 or...
a more consistent turn 1.
Yeah.
To turn 1, I usually need land, and then, like, a couple fast, and then some serious fast mana.
Yeah.
Like maybe like a Mox Opal into a Soul Ring into, so then I've got 3 mana, or like if I do the Pongo special and just go land Mana Crypt. Najeela consistently comes down on turn 2 though.
Yeah.
That's why it's like when I'm talking about like she comes down turn 2, or you are getting rid of that hand.
Yeah. I mean,
the deck runs consistency of dorks for that exact same reason.
Yeah. But then, like, folks were like, well, look at how, like, you could turn 1 a Silas and then turn 2 a Rebek. I'm like, and? Like, what is that doing for you? And I know one person in one of the Discords I'm in was like, well, it's Esper Artifact, so you're getting off the ground. But yeah, but what are those 2 commanders doing that are really, like, I guess Rebek maybe because you're giving yourself some kind of protection early on, like your artifacts, which are theoretically going to be your win cons, but neither one of those is really presenting you with card advantage, like, baked in.
And the things that scare me that go bump in the night, the Silas Rebek does not make me.
Yeah.
Tymna, okay, we could talk.
Yeah, I can see that because that's early card advantage.
Urza, turn 1 Urza, that sounds real fucking interesting.
But I do at least see that that's powerful. I kind of agree with you, but I liked the point you brought up about it's, you know, a free mana rock in Urza. I hadn't thought of that because everybody's so caught up on casting your commander, and obviously that requires you to sacrifice it, but...
Well, that's one of the things about CDH. We need to try to evaluate a card at every stage of the game.
Yeah.
Like when people are like, yes, it is busted, like that's one of the parts of the conversation that I also saw is like, oh my, I saw so many people like posting God 7 hands, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what are you doing?
Deck can do with a mediocre 5.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt some kind of way with how, like, and not just that, but like, again, like, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into the whole, like, people who attack either Wizards or the Rules Committee or the CAG or whatever. So, but yeah, like there was a lot of like dumb conversation going on about this card that just was like, calm down. Well, first and foremost, we're talking about a piece of cardboard that is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. That's what we're talking about here. So everybody needs to just relax.
If worst comes to worst, your printer just makes a fine replica. No one's expecting you to pay $150 for a jeweled. And like I sometimes like when I see cards like this, it makes me sigh because I know I have to fucking run it.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
I do. You don't like people are like, oh, it's the new staple. I'm like, you don't have staples, motherfuckers. I do. when you guys are talking about staples, when I build a CDH deck, it depends on what colors it is, but about like 85 of the cards are already chosen for me. You don't have staples.
Hey, you leave Cultivate alone.
Okay, Cultivate. I actually did buy a box promo Cultivate because it looks so great. I'm never gonna run it and everything. I'm never gonna run it.
Yeah, I can imagine that it doesn't actually do anything in CEDH.
No. Nature's there's an excuse to be made for Nature's Lore, any of the 2 mana ones, because it's like basically gets you there.
Yeah.
But no, I got the Cultivate strictly just because of
the art.
It's sitting in there along with like the one casual deck that I'm trying to put together is Bralin and Shabraz, so it's not even green.
Nice. The Sky Shark and the Sky Shark Rider.
Yeah, my favorite way to play Magic outside of Degenerate combo is Voltron.
Okay.
And I find that they, like, from all the research and the stuff, they get big real fast, and the concept of beating people with a flying shark holding a hammer is hilarious.
I apologize. My dog has suddenly decided that the Aether requires her attention. What do you want?
Tell them I love them.
Cinnamon, you're so pretty. Yeah, you're a good girl. She does this thing, so she has trained me that when she puts a paw up on the chair or on my leg, that means she's going to be pet. So I'll be sitting here, I'll be typing, I'll be talking or whatever, and I'll come up and I'll just feel that light little paw, and I'll just automatically reach down my hand to pet her. It's not even conscious thought anymore. She's like, hey, I want attention. And now she's sitting here.
Attention, she'll just like lay on my phone.
Yeah. So now she's sitting here getting her head pets because she woofed and I talked to her, and then she came over and she put the paw. Right? The paw. She is a yellow lab mixed with beagle. And she's smaller dog. Like, she's like smaller side of medium. She's a beautiful dog though. And she's 10 years old, or she's about to turn 10 years old, and she acts like she's 10 months old. She is such a puppy. She like actually just earlier today I was playing with her. When she starts getting riled up, she does this thing where she sprints down that hallway of the house, sprints back and runs into the chair, which is the reading chair that's right next to my desk. And then she'll just look at me and I'll be like, all right, now go again. And she'll sprint down toward the back door and all the way back. And then she'll just be excited, plant her feet in that like play mode, wagging her tail like a fool. And we'll do that like 3 or 4 times before she like finally tires herself out. But
dogs are great.
She's a good girl. Can you come up here? Yes. You're not going to come all the way up. She's also getting into the habit of not understanding that she's not a lap dog. Oh, never mind. There she is. Hello. Would you like to say hello to the stream? She's so pretty. I will send you a picture because I know my camera's not on. I can't have my camera on in the call because the camera's on for the stream and the computer can't use the same device twice.
Yeah, I'm just on my iPhone.
Yep. Yes. Oh, hello. Yes. But yeah, she has recently decided that she's allowed to come up on the chair.
Good.
She can do whatever she wants. She's so pretty. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness. Can you get down now so you don't fall? Oh no, you're gonna. Okay, cool. She's sitting with us now. All right.
So what does she think about Jeweled Lettuce?
She is indifferent because it does not pet her or feed her. Those are pretty much her two concerns in the world: is will this get me food or love?
Good concerns.
Yeah, I wish I could have just those two concerns. Will you love me or will you feed me, or let me sleep better? But yeah, I don't know. The world kind of exploded over these previews, which I guess I should be kind of used to it by now.
Yeah, people do. Like, that's one of the things that I annoys me about the Magic. Like, there's so many just hot takes, and like we don't need them.
Yeah, it's a game. Like, and then one of the biggest conversations. I'm sorry. What was that?
I was like, I do understand, like, it is for entertainment, and like, as like, I understand, like, you do need to get clicks and hypes and like hype and all that stuff, but
Yeah,
like, even when the Flash conversation happened, when Thassa's Oracle got printed, and like everybody was just like, you need to ban Flash now, you need to ban Thassa's Oracle now, you need to ban this, you need to ban this, you need to ban this. It's like, just shut the fuck up and wait. Just like,
yeah,
when like. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. Like, I knew Flash was gonna happen. We had a great, the longer that it kept going, the better of an argument that we had, and more empirical data and evidence and whatnot, and a better case that we could make.
Mm-hmm.
But like the rules committee is not moving anytime soon. When people the Lutri ban, that wasn't a day one ban. That card was banned 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't like, oh, the emergency meeting of like it's just getting together. It's like, no, Sheldon Menery knew about that card 4 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
And they just released it like there was no emergency ban. Like, day one bans are not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason why Lutri was a day one ban is because he was banned 3 years ago and was never meant to see the light of day.
Yeah. Not in this format.
Yeah, not in this format. And like,
Yeah.
he was never meant for this format. And the amount of times that we subject standard to cards that are meant for Commander, we can like give and take a little, okay?
Yeah, I think that was going back to Jewel Lotus a little bit. Like, Sheldon even mentions, like, I knew of the card, like, and he talked about it like months ago that Wizards was flying him out to Seattle to work on a Commander product, and then announcements about like, oh, Commander Legends is going to be a set, and people, I guess, didn't put two and two together. So it's like, what did you think was happening?
Yeah, like, he knew that it was gonna, like, he doesn't think it's gonna be a problem, and to be honest, I don't honestly. It's only gonna be a problem in EDH is if people make it.
Yeah.
And again, I think that card is only great. Like, the card is pretty decent in a lot of, like, if your commander's on the board, it's no good.
Yeah.
So like turns 1, 2, fantastic. But like the issue, then I completely understand why people are, and again, like I understand where they're coming from too. Because with the recent push of just like value for existing commanders that they have printed, that you can now just get into on turn 2, like that's gonna increase the amount of games where it's just like, what the fuck was the point of me even shuffling up?
Yeah.
Like, because when you all of a sudden like you turn 2 Hullen or a Tulane, and then drop an Ornithopter, draw a card, make a land drop, play an elf, draw a card, make a land drop, and all of a sudden it's like turn 2 and you've got like 3-4 mana on the table and a bunch of creatures in your engine for just like your just jack off engine is just going. It's just like play card, draw, play card, trade, play. It's like, ugh. Like I can understand how that would be infuriating. Like trust me, I've seen Hullen come down early, and that makes me a little nauseous. Like, I can only imagine how that must feel in a game where that is not what is expected.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I kind of feel like people. So for me, right, I played Magic when I was like 8 or 9 years old. That was me getting into the game. So the game was only like 2 or 3 years old at that point. So seeing cards from back then, and now seeing cards since Return to Ravnica, which is when I got back into the game and I've been playing consistently since, I I have to understand that there's gonna be power creep. That's gonna be part of the world. That's gonna be part of the game.
Yeah, like I'm for power creep because I like power. I feel comfortable when I get about like 3 cards out of every set. 3, 4 cards out of every set come out, and all of a sudden, like Druid's happy.
Yeah.
Like that's a good set. Like when all of a sudden like a set comes out, and all of a sudden there's all of a sudden like 10 playable cards that I need to consider. I start getting a little worried.
Yeah. I think the only excuse like this set can have is that it is a commander, like it is literally a commander set.
Yeah, this set's fine. It's literally for
Yeah.
commander, but like the I'm just looking forward to seeing how the new stuff is going to shape up. Like, because people are already going to town on and brewing a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Mox being like slow, like chugging away because we're overloading it with nonsense.
Too many decks. People are making too many decks.
Trying to load anything on Mox Field, it's like taking a little bit longer than anticipated. I'm like, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be really interested to see how EDH Rec handles this set because of the partners.
You good luck to them. I don't know anything about computers, but whoever's job that is, have fun.
Oh, the engineers behind EDH Rec have already said in the past publicly that partner is probably one of the hardest things that they deal with. They loved partner with for that reason because like it's literally just you could have one card, you could have both cards, and that's easy, that's simple. We could set that up. But now you went from 15 cards that had, I want to say the mathematical thing came out to be like 115 possible combinations, and now you're throwing like over 50 new cards into that mix.
Yep. Just have fun with that.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're gonna do. I'm sure they're working on it now. I'm sure they've been working on it since it was announced that partner was going to be a thing, but I have no idea what they're going to do. It just seems crazy.
To be glad, I was a little worried about partner, but most of the partners that have come out have been pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like I was worried when when they said partner with partner planeswalkers, I was like, good lord, what are they gonna do? But they didn't do it too bad. Jessica's an infinite mana outlet. Oh, I love the amount of toys that Voltron has gotten from this set.
Yeah, I noticed. I was thinking that too.
Like, basically, WotC heard like the problem that Voltron was having in Commander and just went, okay.
Here we are.
Yeah, like Akiri's been having like some just like she's entered her hoe phase. The amount of like playables that have been coming out with her, like her and Jessica, her and Caduceus or like Cadosis, the little the imp.
Yeah.
Or the one that spreads damage around the table.
Yeah. What is it also like? Not as far as Akiri, but as far as Voltron goes, the giant pirate, Droga.
Yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah, just big old 7/4 something like that. Yeah, just big old red trampler. Just
like there's been so many new Voltron options because they like basically heard that like the hardest problem that Voltron had is like closing games out and getting damage around.
Yeah.
And they added damage tripplers.
Yeah.
In the command zone, and then Jessica just so happens to be an infinite mana outlet.
Yep. I will say that that's actually something that I was excited for like Jeweled Lotus, because when I was going through the commanders that I think, do well with that kind of like early ramp, aggro commanders want that kind of ramp so that they can get their basically their end game started early.
Yeah, so, that's why I wanted Nujila.
Exactly. So like
back of one Jeweled Lotus.
Yep. So decks like that, I'm kind of glad that they're getting a power boost, because we've always complained that aggro is not something in Commander. Well, maybe it will be. I mean, if Jeweled Lotus turns around and makes it so that people are dying in the combat phase, that's fine. To me. Like, damn, that's Seth Cross's opinion, so.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. Like, again, like, we'll see what happens within a couple of months. I do understand. Like, I think WotC has a disconnect about what they think is big and splashy versus what the community thinks is big and splashy.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking with tweet had Blake's ear for like 30 seconds, and it was just like we're talking about Jeweled Lotus leading to big splashy plays, and I'm like, there's a difference between like early aggressive plays and late big splashy plays, which people want late big splashy plays, not just turn one town commander.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you, Blake, and I think Josh Lee Kwai was in on that conversation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I was enjoying the way you guys were having that conversation. I felt like it was a good direction to go in. I liked your pictures of the Eldraine food like catering you would.
By the way, if you guys need anybody in the lunchroom, give me a job.
Yep, I like that. I thought that was sly. That was slick. But yeah, I like seeing those kind of conversations though, like trying to kind of like guide people towards seeing what's out there, like, or not even what's out there, but what people want to be out there, I guess.
Yeah, because like people's opinion can get too inground in their meta, and like one of the things that Blake said is like, I've been playing EDH since forever. I'm like, yes, you might be playing EDH, but how much do you know outside your own meta?
Yeah.
Like, how much do you guys view? How much Magic content do you consume outside of the stuff that you get to play on your own? Like, I consume 6 to 8 hours of Magic content a day.
Yeah.
Like, I watch MTG Mudstead. I watch game nights. It's just because I play CDH doesn't mean I don't have, like, I prefer extra turns. But like I watch all of it, and like I consume conversations that people are having about like in their metas about the issues that they're having, and just because like it doesn't apply to me doesn't mean it's not useful for the rest of the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, even just like those conversations on Twitter, that's a form of content. Like having those in-depth, analytical conversations. I mean, those are ways to really like broaden your horizons, not horizons, but like broaden your view of things.
Yeah.
So,
and it's when people are like, oh, that's not a problem, it's just like, it is a problem, and they're like, well, we can't do anything about it, and I'm like, yes, you can. And then they're like, we can't do anything about it anymore, and I'm like, touche. Which is the answer that I got. It's like I basically got, well, the cat's out of the bag now, and I'm just like, well, I can't technically argue with that.
Yeah, like we've put the power level to whatever factor. So how do we bring it back down? There really isn't a way to bring it back down, because even if they were to start printing sets with a lower power factor, that doesn't stop the fact. And yeah, we would still just pick the best cards.
Yeah, and it's just like, you can't unprint Corvold.
Yep.
You can't make Hullen not happen.
Yep. And you can't just go and ban everything, because that's not healthy either.
Tatyova was a fucking uncommon.
All right, listen here. Don't talk about my wife.
Oh yeah, well, she shouldn't have been an uncommon. And like,
that's
God, and who's the new Simic Snake?
Yeah. The one that's Tatyova, but lets you do an extra one on top.
Yeah, like, oh my God, like, come on.
Wait. Are you saying that's not good? Are you saying that's not like?
I'm just like, it's not great design space. But those are like the command. Like, I like seeing commanders that can do interesting things. Commanders that just like, you know what? Corvold still would have been good if he didn't say draw a card on him. Hullen still would have been interesting if he didn't say draw a card on him.
I think
you didn't need to put that.
Yeah, I think Corvold, I think, would have still been just as strong as Vivictus, the new Vivictus, the Dire.
Corvold would have been a big commander because he would have gotten huge and being able to beat the crap out of people.
Yeah.
But like massively drawing your deck off of one dockside is just like, that hurts.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, it's not. It's fine, but it's not. Or like just Hullen existing. Like Hullen plus Shrieking Drake go burr. It's nauseating, and like it's like sometimes like those commanders kind of annoy me because you really got to make sure that you keep interaction for them, which is again not the kind of play pattern that like Blake was saying. It's like, oh, people are just gonna need to run more removal, and it's just like that's not like that's what you want to hear in competitive Magic.
Yeah,
that's not what you want in casual Magic. You don't want to have to like be running that much removal and mulliganing down to removal on every single like you shouldn't need a mulligan guy to play casual EDH.
Yeah, you shouldn't be keeping or pitching a hand just because you don't have a turn 1 removal spell every time.
Yeah, like that doesn't like, and like with all due respect to WotC, that's the environment that they created.
Yeah,
and I like again, I might be fine with that for CDH, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's best for the general community of EDH, which is again, as I will continue to say, more of my concern.
Yeah. The biggest problem in EDH is around the 7-8 power level.
Is that what someone said?
Yeah, somebody in chat said that power level 6 and under were playing dumb things. So I think personally, this is Seth Cross just speaking his mind into the aether. I think it's where you get the confusion between, is this necessarily a 7 or an 8, and then they don't always match up. I think that's more the concern, is that like you hit a certain point where the next notch up is something that the notch that you're at can't handle.
Yeah, and like trying to understand that entire like mishmash and like the personal politics of like trying to find out what people want and like what people expect from a game, and also like from being in CDH, also like what people think is powerful, and I'm just like, oh, I've got a very different opinion than that.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this 3 cards can like when people are telling me that like Exquisite Blood Sanguine Bond combo is good, I'm like, I've got very different opinions than that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it might be 2 cards, but it's enchantments and total cost of like 12 mana or whatever.
Yep.
Like that's not good. Like it might fall under my 2-card rule, but like mana cost blows it out the water, and it's just like that's a super powerful combo that's running like my CDH deck runs like wins off Exquisite Blood combo, and I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah. How do I break your heart right now?
Yeah, how do like, and it was something that I tweeted out today, and like a lot of people, it's like, is my deck CDH? I can win with a really good 7. I'm like, if your deck is CDH, you should be able to win with a pretty meh 5.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, oh, is my deck CDH? I can win off a God Hand. Like most EDH decks I've seen can win off a God Hand.
Yeah, I mean,
but show me how you can win off of a mediocre 5, and then you might have a deck.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I used to run a Crankle Mob Boss deck that was really just how many infinite combos can I put in one deck, and goblins just were a nice way to do it. That I felt was kind of like potentially CDH a bull, but it wasn't like, I didn't think it was CEDH, but I felt like I could at least hang and not feel like a complete doofus, because I could kill typically like anywhere from turn 2 to 4. I could at least kill one person anyway. And like, granted, you know, interaction's a thing and I have to worry about that, but
yeah, in mono red.
Yeah. So, but like I knew, like I understand that's
knowing is different. Like at least knowing, walking. There's a lot of people that have wanted to play Magic with me that know that I don't have a casual deck, and they're just like, fuck it, whatever. We'll see what we can do. Like, in like one of my favorite ways to play Magic, like honestly, like I thoroughly enjoy it, is like Arch Enemy. Like I'll like no life total difference. Like everybody, like it's just 3v1 normal life totals. Like let's go.
Yeah, just see if you can take me down.
Like, and sometimes the heroes get like, and one of my favorite things to do is play the villain, because all of a sudden people start working together and thinking together and making plans, and I'm just sitting there going like, yes, destroy me, destroy me. Like just watching everybody work together to like defeat the evil villain. Like, oh my god, is Najeela's gonna come down? Well, do you have like you need to keep your hand with this, and like people talking about their opening hands, and like just kind of fostering that environment of people like getting along to try and beat up on me. Like I'm for it.
It's kind of like having a D&D session where you're the DM presenting the obstacles and letting them overcome them.
Yeah, it's essentially just being like, it's a boss battle. You just got to fight me.
All right, well, I don't know, man. I felt like we had a good conversation about quite a few things. So let's wrap this up for tonight. I feel like if we were to just kind of keep going from topic to topic, we could be here all night. And again, I know you said you had to get up early in the morning, so obviously we can find you on Twitter and we can find you on TikTok because you're the superstar over there. So I'll make sure your links are in the video description down below when this reaches YouTube. Is there anything else that you want to like plug or talk about or say right before we wrap up?
No, I'm not generally plug my own stuff. I just kind of do what I do. I just like kind of like see you guys on Twitter and let's have some fun brewing some stuff. Like let's just have a good time. Awesome.
All right. For those of you on stream and out on YouTube, we do these every Monday. Different guests at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/Praetor_gaming. Come join us live. For those of you who join us live, we try to have the guests kind of hang out and answer questions afterward. That part doesn't make it to YouTube. It's special for the folks who join us in the chat. Tomorrow I'm doing Alchemist Refuge, which is my brewing stream. I believe this week I'm either doing Blim, Bad Santa Blim, which is from Commander Legends, or I'm doing Malcolm and Breach's Is It Pirates? So there's a Twitter pull up. What's up?
I said, yeah, Is It Pirates?
Yeah. There's a Twitter pull up if you're watching this live. I think there's like a few hours if you haven't voted, so go check that out. Wednesday, Phyrexian's going to be doing his Heart Gold Pokemon Nuzlocke stream again. Thursday is going to be 3DH, which is again the $3 decks that we play on Magic Online. And then on Sunday, Phyrexian will continue with his Nuzlocke challenge. So make sure you're checking out those. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for everything but Pokemon, which starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, all right. Any last words?
No, just thank you for having me on. It was great to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely thank you for coming on. You were a great guest. Love to have you on again in the future.
Yeah, you know where to find me.
All right. So, peace.
See you later.